Are we going? I think we're going. What's up, everybody? It is 9 o'clock a.m., actually 9:01, as you all know, a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time, Tuesday, May 3rd. Happy birthday, 2022 A.D. Anno Domini. I can feel the racism already, says Uri Blau. Well, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And we're going to have a fun Tuesday show, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Everybody loves Tuesdays almost as much as Mondays. Today is the best day, right? This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. We're going to talk about, I will expand into that brainwashing the kids about hate and love thing that I talked about with the not morally straight propaganda push in these and propagated and celebrated in this kindergarten through so-called middle or junior high school over in New York City. I touched on it toward the end of the show yesterday. Gonna finish it today. Yesterday was Monday. And the abortion thing, exciting sort of news, exciting, something to talk about. Although it is, check out Jesse Lee Peterson's first hour. Check out all 3 hours of today's show. Today is Tuesday again. Very stern and sobering warning about what that is a sign of. The leak, the Supreme Court leak about the baby killing thing. Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood of Southwestern PA or whatever it is versus Casey. Those two disgraceful decisions hopefully shall be overturned. But the leak is bad news. And messy weddings and interesting history, propaganda, revisionist history. Oh my gosh. And some other things that I forgot to show you yesterday. The crazy storm over the weekend in Kansas and maybe Nebraska. Wow. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. Some of you do criticize me, and it may be valid, for laughing at odd times. You know, at one point, somebody criticized me the other day for laughing when what? I was telling a story of this black who's on death row who alleged, or was convicted, I guess, of raping, I think, kidnapping and killing a white young lady. I think, like 17 years old, when she was 17, decades back. And I was laughing about it. I wasn't laughing about the rape, come on, or the murder. I was laughing about the fact that he was trying to say, oh, do a DNA check. And the DNA check found that he had potentially raped other women around the same similar time. So like he was burying himself with finding more, what do you call that? Evidence against himself, trying to study the evidence. The heck is going on? I'm trying to find my Periscope stream. Anyway, I'm wearing a NRA t-shirt. It says protect, it's very faded. It came to me faded. I bought it faded. I like the design. It says protect your right. Protect your right. I interrupted my story about laughing. I was laughing about the fact that he was making himself look worse and look even more guilty by trying to finagle things to be in his favor. And, you know, I also laughed at the chat. Somebody gave a chat Raymond 11 said, somebody who said, no more frog eyes. And that made me laugh because I have more frog eyes. I've thought about doing frog eyes for the rest of this month. Frog eyes is they're not Christian, okay? But it's a band that I liked from Victoria, Canada, and they're cool. Well, I think they're cool. And they came back together and came out with an album a few days ago. Very nice. There was something else I was about to say. I'm so discombobulated. Oh, yeah, I'm wearing my T-shirt just before I get started with the show, guys, even though I'm started with it. It says, protect your right, and it has a rifle here. NRA. I love the NRA, even though they're not based, because they stand supposedly for the Second Amendment. And I like Wayne LaPierre. Wayne LaPierre is the guy who converted that Trump Jew guy, Stephen Miller, who was in the White House. He was an advisor in like the West Wing or something like that. Stephen Miller, this bald guy, he's a few years younger than me, in his 30s, came out of a liberal Jewish, he was from a liberal Jewish family in, I want to say Santa Monica High School or something. And this guy, Stephen Miller, read Guns and Ammo magazine, Wayne LaPierre articles, and became a conservative of sorts. And he stood alone to salute the flag. Right on, sir, young sir. Got married recently. And he would pump up the crowd before Trump rallies. And he was tough on immigration. He made, which is not hard to do, but made Jim Acosta of CNN look like a clown, talking about the plaque on the, what is that thing? The Statue of Liberty that says, bring us your poor, your huddled masses, and we will accept you into our country like suckers. Like two nice white suckers. That's what's literally on the plaque of the French given to us Statue of Liberty. And they think that that's supposed to be our immigration policy. And this guy said, no, that was put on later by some liberal artist or poet. That's not what our immigration policy is supposed to be. So I like Stephen Miller. I like NRA. I like Wayne LaPierre, who said the thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Nice. And there was this young man who was in like 12 years old or 13 years old who wore this T-shirt, maybe with cut-off sleeves. Some people want me to do cut-off sleeves, to school, and he got sent home or forced to change his T-shirt because it has a gun on it. How pathetic are the schools? I'm going to get to that. In fact, let me get to that right now. Excuse me. I wanted to get to this yesterday. Brainwashing the kids about hate and love. Because the schools are overrun with liberals, teachers, staff members, female principals, female or female-minded superintendents. I showed you this tweet from Libs of TikTok yesterday. Libs of TikTok is that based Orthodox Jewish young lady who got doxxed the other week for exposing the liberals all the time and how insane they are on TikTok and elsewhere. From Instagram, an Instagram post from the Gateway School that I showed you yesterday from June of last year. Excuse me, I need to cough. I'm getting better practiced with my mute button. But the Gateway School showed this little girl, like I said, 12-year-olds, they can be little girls or they can be big girls because some of them who don't have their fathers go through puberty early. Wayne LaPierre's a fraud? I don't know. You might be right. I don't know. But I appreciate a little bit of the decent stuff that he's done. 7th graders presented their end-of-year research projects for integrated research at this Gateway School for students with language-based handicaps, learning handicaps, right? Attention deficits, ADD, ADHD type students, right? Kindergarten through 8th grade, this New York City school, private school, $70,000 a year roughly to send your little kid there to school. And Beatrice, this little girl, focused on the history of pride, so-called pride, and the civil rights movement of the LGBTQIA plus community. This is an Instagram post, shamelessly posted, proudly posted by the Gateway School. Do you have that? Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh. Cute little girl showing all these disgusting, degenerate pride flags, pride in degeneracy, pride in confusion, pride in delusion. Very nice classroom, though. Look at that. Excuse me, well funded. I need to drink some water. I don't know, for some reason my throat's scratchy. Pardon me. I appreciate you guys bearing with me through this. Beyond the Rainbow, your ultimate guide to the pride flags. And I rattled off all those pride flags. I zoomed in on, I think we zoomed in on them and I showed a bunch of them. I read off what they are. It's just all the different degenerate, different ways that you can be gross. Or think you're call wrong right, you know? There's more than one way to be not morally straight, FYI. Even the people who are doing the normal, so-called normal men and women sex, that's not morally straight either much of the time, okay? Just FYI. So I have more about this so-called Gateway School, Gateway to Hell, from their link tree. And the Hake Report was banned from Linktree, just a side note, for being white and male and Christian, I presume. There, one Linktree blog was hashtag stand up. Hashtag stand up, but not stand up for what's right and for men and for being moral again and figure out what was wrong. No, stand up against hate. And that's from the most hateful anti-white defamation league, ADL. The ADL is the anti-American, anti-white, anti-Christian defamation league. Barf. And it's a blog from, and this is literally from the Gateway School. So they're pushing this agenda on the children. Hashtag stand up for respect. Stand up against hate. There is no, I'm looking at this headline from the ADL website. ADL. Disgusting outlet. Excuse me. It's a Jewish organization, and they pretend to be against defamation of Jewish people, but really they defame whites and Christians in America. There is no them, there is only us. What, us Nazis? Do you include the Nazis in the us, or do you bash them and call everybody Nazis? Nazis. Take the pledge. There is no them. Take the pledge to hashtag stand up against racism, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, xenophobia, homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, ableism, and all other forms of hate. Yeah, right. Female-minded Jewish people, or ADL, whatever you are. Mostly they're atheists, by the way. Another Linktree blog. If I can keep on, the pledge. Let me read the pledge from the ADL. Today, I pledge to hashtag stand up against hate and hashtag stand up for respect. I will. S is, STANDUP is the acronym. The S stands for speak out when I stand up. Speak out when I hear someone being attacked for who they are. And, you know, all these false identities, such as blackness or womanness or Muslim or Jewish or LGBTQIA, those are false identities. Speak out against when I hear someone attacked for who they are. They're not being attacked for who they are. Talk about how stereotypes, prejudice, and discrimination hurt our society. A stands for ask legislators to support laws that protect and advance civil rights, meaning clamp down on free speech, right? For example. N stands for never allow a bigoted slur to go unchallenged. You know, these women try to just police your language. D stands for denounce online hate and report conduct that violates TOS. TOS stands for terms of service. Because, you know, all these liberal social media establishment platforms are against free and true speech, right? The U in stand up stands for unite with diverse communities and educate myself on how to be an effective ally. There's that word, ally. Ally, I don't know if that's ever stood for anything good. It just means globo homo communist, I say. The P in stand up stands for protect my neighbors by building welcoming communities. Give me a break. I say, give me a break. That reminds me, I'm on the Nextdoor app. This is just a side note. I want to plow through this as fast, okay? So stop me if I'm over-explaining. But I was on the Nextdoor app. I think this is an interesting story. And I don't know if I have a screenshot. I might in my phone somewhere. But I saw this Asian woman. No, I think it was a purportedly white or perhaps Jewish or, white Jewish or some liberal husband of some Asian woman who walks her dog in the neighborhood around this Bond area, complaining, I didn't want to say anything, but when my Asian wife, walks her dog around the neighborhood, she tries to say hello to people, and they just give her a blank stare. Racism against the Asians. You need to be more, welcoming to the Asians. Please. And they're bashing a liberal Los Angeles neighborhood. They're saying that there's this racism against the Asians. The only people who greet each other on the street anymore that I see are sometimes Mexicans to Mexicans or blacks to blacks. They'll nod to each other. And I don't even know that they are truly friendly people, but they see each other, they nod to each other. Everybody else, head down, or some of the old folks, the old school old folks, the very friendly old guys, they will wave to you or say hi and be friendly like that. But for the most part, the diversity has not been a uniting factor among neighborhoods. Neighbors don't know each other, or really stuff. Hake, you veer off way too daggone much. Whoa, watch your language, ghostwriter, but thank you. So anyway, that's an example of neighbors building welcoming communities, protecting my neighbors. Give me a break. And then, okay, so another Gateway School link-treed blog post is they linked to Greater Good magazine. Greater Good. And I think that's a Berkeley University outlet, science-based insights for a meaningful life. And they have 8 ways to stand up against hate. 8 ways that's their little cringy headline. Hate crimes and hateful language are on the rise. What are you going to do about it? And it's an article from 2016 by Elizabeth Zvordoba. And they reference this person, this Elizabeth Zvordoba woman. She embeds a couple of Philip Zimbardo videos. And I recognize that name, Philip Zimbardo. This is all propaganda pushed on the kids, by the way. Philip Zimbardo, which is a name I recognize. He's like this psychologist guy. And he's standing up against hate. And I want to play for you a little background on this Philip Zimbardo guy, because 4 or 5 years ago, I think it was 2017, in March, I don't know when it was. Maybe it was later than 2017. But Philip Zimbardo, Jesse Lee Peterson interviewed him. Back when, I don't know if I was producer or maybe somebody else might have been producer. Psychologist Philip Zimbardo versus Jesse Lee. Remember this thing that was going around? Is Donald Trump mentally ill? Psychologist and professor Philip Zimbardo was interviewed by Jesse Lee, and I have this clip. Let me see, which clip is this? Do you know, can you tell which? Clip 11. Clip 11. Psychologist and professor emeritus at Stanford University, Philip Zimbardo, author of The Time Paradox, also known for the Stanford Prison Experiment, and time perspective therapy, discusses and debates with Jesse Lee Peterson about Donald Trump's mental health and whether it's good that he is childlike and lives in the present. He's full of energy and not angry at people who wrong him. And so here's a little clip, a little taste, a little flashback from, March 16th, 2017, Hour 3, Jesse Lee Peterson interviewed Philip Zimbardo. Here's a little clip of that, just to show you who this guy is who's supposedly telling kids how to stand up against hate. Listen to this effeminate old man, 84 years old, 80-something years old. Here's Philip Zimbardo and Jesse Lee.
What's unique about Donald Trump, and it's dangerous, is that he is an unrestrained, what we call present hedonist. I've written a book called The Time Paradox, where we talk about how each of us live in a different time zone. Some people live in the future, always planning ahead. Some people live in the past, remembering the good or bad times. And some people, especially kids, live in the moment. And Donald Trump is what we call a present hedonist. That means, and we have lots and lots of research from around the world saying present hedonists live for excitement, live for novelty. They get bored right away. They make decisions on the spur of the moment, and because they have no future orientation, they never think about the consequences of their decision. They get addicted to everything. So Donald Trump is addicted to Twitter as if it was, as if it was a drug. He can't not go on Twitter. And this is an embarrassment. This is the president of the United States is taking time out to go on Twitter almost every day. So the danger is that here's a guy with unlimited power who lives in the moment and not really thinking through the consequences of his decision. And that's what I'm saying. Here's a danger aside from any narcissistic personality.
Do
Crazy, huh?
that type of personality do good?
They can do good. They get involved in lots of things. They get easily bored. They're always looking for excitement.
Listen to this.
If they get put on the right track, they can do good because they have unlimited energy, as you see with him. Present hedonists, because they live in the moment, they have this huge amount of energy, which you can see he has. He's working all the time.
And he's doing good, though.
Crazy, huh? Isn't that interesting? Everything that he said, that this Philip Zimbardo guy says about Trump, he's like a child. He lives in the present, not the past or the future. He has unlimited energy. I don't know what this guy is, Philip Zimbardo. I think that's like an Italian last name, but I don't know really what his heritage is. Some of you guys may be curious. I like to know just because it's interesting, but I don't know. But it's funny because he called him an obvious narcissist. Obama was all into himself to this day. And it's funny because this guy who stands up against hate, Philip Zimbardo, this was 2017, pretty healthy at nearly 84, although he talked with some high-pitched voice. Almost sounds like he wants to be a woman. Sorry, it sounds like that. But some people have their traumas, right? But then later, after this interview, he emailed me. I guess I was producer who invited him on the show. He was from Psychology Today, great source for getting kooks, so-called psychologists and psychiatrists onto this show. Psychology Today, just a little tip. This guy later emailed me that Jesse Lee Peterson is a stupid A-word Christian patriarch host. Wow. Isn't that interesting? This guy who teaches kids to not be hateful, 8 ways to stand up against hate, or, being used by this female writer for greatergood.berkeley.edu. Isn't that interesting? And I will get to your calls. You can call in 888-775-3773. One last thing from this Gateway School. I just had to show you that about Philip Zimbardo. Last thing from this Gateway School that promotes, pushes this stuff on children in New York City. Gateway School Linktree links to this. last blog post. Supporting LGBTQ students in elementary school from Edutopia. And Edutopia is a website pushed by the George Lucas, as in that Star Wars, not a Christian, guy who come up with Star Wars, George Lucas, you know, the Star Wars movie maker or whatever, creator. George Lucas Educational Fund. And the following from this blog post, excerpt from this blog post by Paul Emerick France, May 2019. Look at that. Up at the top, it says George Lucas Educational Fund, by the way. Is that the same George Lucas? Is George Lucas married to a black female? Somebody look that up for me. Press 1 if he is. Press 2 if he's not. Anyway, just a side note. But anyway, this Paul Emerick France, this made me rudely gesture at the screen when I read this. Oh my gosh. The blog post starts out with recounting a purported conversation between a teacher and a young quote-unquote girl. The guy says that he reacted with this not morally straight heartbreak and then heart mend. Talk about all feelings are lies. Listen to this little story from this blog post by Paul Emerick France in 2019. Paul, do you have a girlfriend? Parker asked me. And Parker, I guess, is the name of a girl. I don't, this Paul guy replied succinctly. Apparently he's a teacher, hoping to avoid the topic altogether. Why? She queried. Parker queried. Because I don't want one, I said, and I being this Paul Emerick France guy. Why? She asked again, smiling up at me. Parker asked, little girl. It was clear I wasn't getting out of this one. This first grader had questioned. A 6-year-old, purportedly, or maybe a 7-year-old. Some first graders are 7. And would demand answers. Because I have a boyfriend, this Paul guy finally exhaled. Male saying he has a boyfriend. Oh, that's weird, she said. This Parker little first grader said. I understand. Sometimes when things are different, they seem a little weird, this Paul guy replied. I guess he's a first grade teacher or something. Why do you think it's weird? And then the little girl responds, well, I just don't like when people make fun of you. I feel bad for you. So this little girl is feeling bad for her not morally straight first grade, teacher? In these few minutes, it seemed as though my heart was broken and put back together all at once. Terrible, huh? Did you follow the story? Terrible. We adults often think of sexuality and gender as things that are out of reach for students, especially our youngest ones, says this evil person. We project our discomfort on them, assuming that discussing sexuality, biological sex, or gender is inappropriate for young students. But it's clear from conversations like the one I had with Parker, says this Paul guy, that children come into our classrooms with a wealth of knowledge. One of our jobs as educators is to welcome students' perspectives into the classroom, but we can also dismantle, there's that word, dismantle ways of thinking that reinforce the gender dichotomy, meaning male and female, that's what dichotomy means, and heteronormativity, meaning it's normal and proper to be normal, not as in normal as in morally straight, men and women, not men and men, not women and women. So this guy wants to dismantle that thinking, the true, the normal, the morally straight. And we must create safe spaces for children to explore their identities and empathize, there's a liberal word, with those who are different from them. In 2017, the CDC, this is from this article, linked from the Gateway School. The CDC, scared woman-led CDC, well, it wasn't woman-led at that point, estimated that 8% of high school students identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer, LGBTQ. Kevin Jennings, founder of the Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network, estimates that 1 in 10 educators in the United States identifies as LGBTQ. That's horrifying. 10% of teachers, so-called educators, These data provide the moral imperative for showing pride in the classroom, says this not morally straight propagandist, for finding ways to include the LGBTQ community, which is not a community, in our curriculum. The problem is that most teachers don't know where to start, even in spaces where LGBTQ community is already welcomed and visible. Terrible, huh? That made me, again, gesture rudely at the screen. Sorry, kids. Don't want to be a bad example. Anyway, we're at the bottom of the hour. That's enough of that, right? I'm going to cover this abortion story, but I have a call to get to. Let's keep it moving, right? William in California is on the line. William, thank you for holding. How are you doing?
My man, James.
Hey.
Ain't nothing like a cup of coffee, the Hake Report, my man, James.
I appreciate that. Right on.
Shout out to Lord Grimm, Matt the American, Rick in Hampton, Virginia, and Artie Art. You always make me feel better when you call Artie.
Nice.
I had a letter come in yesterday just from some tenants. They said, William, you're going to have to get some surveillance cameras. I said, why is that? They said, well, because, we live in a decent neighborhood. The Tenderloin crowd downtown San Francisco, they're spreading all over the city, and they're following people home and robbing them.
Wow.
So I got a bunch of tenants that are afraid, and I looked into what I had to do with the, they want some surveillance cameras or something. I looked into it, $7,800. But I guess I got to protect them, right, James?
Yeah, I mean, you want their business, and you wouldn't want evil to befall your tenants.
That would be wrong.
Yeah.
That would be wrong. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and collect their rent every month and then not care about their safety. But it's spreading all over, and the brazen theft out in the open in daylight has really become a real problem in the city of San Francisco. Like I said, I don't live there anymore. I just own property there, and I'm aware of what they're facing.
If you'll allow me to interrupt briefly,
Go ahead.
remember, I think Jesse Lee covered the story with Nick, that in San Francisco, in some areas, at some point, people were leaving their cars empty and wide open. So that
unlocked.
People wouldn't, unlocked and just opened, that people wouldn't steal their stuff or break their windows.
Right. See, that came from back in the day. People used to replace their stock radio in their cars with like a stereo system.
Yeah.
And they just started making those things to where you can easily snatch them out the car instead of tearing the whole dashboard up. It's come from that same idea. Just let them take what they want without tearing the car up or taking it. Just let them get what they want and go about their business.
Yeah.
It sounds quite insane, but that's what's going on. And the video that I sent you this morning has a good idea of what some of our black mothers are doing. They're just tearing up these stores and stealing, and it's like going up to like $50 million a day around this country. It's like, well, no wonder you can't raise decent children. Look what the mothers are doing.
Yeah.
I don't care. You got anybody who wants to respond to that? I mean, it's just ridiculous. I'm looking at the videos. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
What is going on here? It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is.
And the abortion thing, well, I can tell you in the black community, abortion has killed more babies than anything.
Yeah.
Way beyond slavery.
Way beyond even the Holocaust.
I would say so.
Way beyond even communism, if you don't include abortion in communism.
And, abortion outnumbers the problem in the inner city with the violence and drive-by shootings and everything.
Yeah.
Abortion exceeds that number.
Wow.
You know. and it's mostly what kills me, what breaks my heart, is it's mostly black mothers that are advocating for this.
Well, yeah, they're way out of proportion. They're like 3 times. I think they're like 2 or 3 times as likely to kill their baby in the womb. At least official numbers.
Right. Now you want to explain to me how evil that is?
Yeah.
That's just evil. You know. I mean,
Yep.
you killing all your babies. It's just crazy. You know.
Yeah. It is awful.
I don't know. I mean, you would think. I mean, they brag about how good a mom they are and everything. Was such a good mother. Why are you killing all your babies?
Yep. It's evil.
Right,
Yeah,
killing all
and in
your
New York
babies.
City, for multiple years, I say this all the time. There are more babies killed, black babies killed, than born. They're killing more than half of their pregnancies.
Right.
It's crazy.
I mean, I mean, at this stage in my life, I don't plan to having children right now. I have a girlfriend. She's a good girl. She's a Navy girl. She's retired. She's cool. I don't think we're gonna be having any kids at this point. But she's cool and everything. So I asked her about it. She says, "No way, I would kill my child. I didn't have any kids either, but I wouldn't kill my child."
Wow.
But yeah, $7,800. That's 5 buildings. I got to invest almost $10,000 in surveillance cameras. And I mean, I ain't crying about it. I'm gonna probably more than likely I'm gonna have to do it because
Yeah.
I think Jesse mentioned it in Los Angeles. They're coming from South Central. They're going to Beverly Hills.
Yep. It's true.
So they're doing the same thing up in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
The same thing, the same thing. I mean, they're not limiting the crime. I mean, at one time, crime used to be limited right there in the bad areas, and they would go no further. Well, right now, that's not the case right now. They people think that this is a game. It's costing everybody. It's costing everybody.
Yeah.
But I sent you some video of some of their behavior. And as usual, fat and black.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Fat and black.
Well, I appreciate it, William. I wish you well, and I wish your tenants well.
Oh, man, I'm going to try my best to take care of them. I mean, I would think that would be the right thing to do. It's a sting in the pocket, but I think it would be the right thing to do because it's just that, I mean, this is what a lot of black people don't understand. There is no discrimination in housing. What it is people will pay extra money to stay out of the way of crime. That's how that works. It's got anything to do with racism. People, when they pay more, that keeps them away from all of that.
Yeah.
Used to be.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But got some video. I hope you show it. And I hope anybody wants to challenge that this is not fake news. This is real news. I enjoy the news because it keeps me on top of what's going on around me.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
yeah.
Thank you, William. Take care, man.
All right.
All right.
You guys all have a nice day.
All right. You as well.
All right.
Bye. Oh, man. Before I get to more calls, I have to read some Super Chats. I am due to read some Super Chats, guys. Single Mom gave a couple of Super Chats late yesterday. Said, Lin Yan Chin has low self-esteem as evidenced by his constant self-flagellation through his chats. Perhaps it's false humility. Hopefully this isn't inhibiting him from being productive, but of course this is just an observation. Well, thank you, Single Mom. Going after the chatters. Another from Single Mom says, yes, William, referring to William's call yesterday, who I just talked with. Please berate Maze more. I appreciate your effort to have her call once again. Single Mom is a Maze fan. Thank you, Single Mom. I appreciate you. Lin Yan Chin, also mentioned by Single Mom just now, stated with the super chat, Lord Good Hair, are your glorious follicles tingling in the light of things to come? Can you sense the advent of approaching wonder as Chris Saturday kickflips evil away and Joelle Friday prances under the sparkle-covered blouse banner of God's grace. I'm trying to feel if my hairs are tingling. Maybe so, Lin Yan Chin. I'm not sure. But I appreciate that. That's kind. It sounds nice. Dan East says with the super chat, your Odysee stream is muted. Love ya, no homo. Nice. Same to you. And I have reset the Odysee stream, so press 1 if Odysee, odysee.com/@the Hake Report is working now. I had to do the same with Jesse Lee's Odysee, had to click reset stream, and then the audio started coming through. The video was going, but there was no audio coming through. So inexplicably, that happened. Odysee sometimes has problems. They're a relatively new platform, and we are there. So hopefully it's working now. Yes, working. Cool. I feel like there were some other super chats. Let me double check. There were some interesting regular chats. Uri Blau, whom I quoted earlier, said, Hake is a skin-identifying wacko, he alleges, without evidence, pretending that I'm into my whiteness or something. False. That's what I say. Johnny B. Walker says, Hake, what word starts with N and ends with R that you never want to call a black person? Neighbor. Funny. Very funny. Ghost Rider talks about what William was saying about the crime and how people just can't even live their lives normally. It's not a very high-trust society anymore, meaning it's not very white, especially not on the inside. Ghost Rider says that's the oppression of crime. Indeed, blacks are oppressed by their own crime or the crime of other blacks around them. Covert says, this morning was weird. JLP and crew were more mad at the leak of the Supreme Court instead of seeing a victory in the Roe v. Wade dismissal. What the? Well, Roe v. Wade has not, at this point, been overturned. So don't count your chickens before they're hatched. That's why you have to deal with the evil today and not celebrate the victories of perhaps June or July, if and when this thing does get overturned. But thank you, Overt. Hopefully that explained the situation for you. Germaine is out of Atlanta, Georgia, on the line. Germaine, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Thanks for holding. Are you there? Unmute your phone. Germaine going once. Germaine going twice. Let me put Germaine on hold, and we will check on her. But anyway, speaking of this Roe v. Wade thing, Chris, in his defense, her. I said her, but it's a him. Chris, over there in the experts segment of the Jesse Lee Peterson show, first thing he said was that it was good, according to him. And I think that's probably true. I don't recall very well. I do have a pretty good memory, but Chris always tells the truth. So he said that it was a good thing to overturn Roe v. Wade, but the leak is evil. And it hasn't been overturned yet, so don't be counting your chickens before they're hatched. I will get back to you, Germaine. Hang tight, sir. Or ma'am. It's ma'am. No, I'm pretty sure it's a sir. Germaine with a G or a J. But anyway, hang tight. Let me play this clip 12. Are we under God's judgment for abortion? This is from USA Today. Far left enemies of USA, by the way, outlet. After a draft opinion was leaked that considers overturning Roe v. Wade, protesters and celebrators descended on the Supreme Court. And this article reads, we're never going back. Meaning and they put a coat hanger. Never going back to aborting our babies with a coat hanger. Like Louis Farrakhan's mother said that she tried to do to him. No wonder he's so angry. That's what I learned in The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. It might also be in Scam, How the Black Leadership Exploits Black America, 2 books by Jesse Lee Peterson. Protesters descend on the Supreme Court to condemn or celebrate the possible end of Roe v. Wade. Typical women counting their chickens before they're hatched. How is the leak evil? Who cares? LOL, says covert overt. You must not be white, at least not white on the inside. You wouldn't understand. Go back and check out re-listen to our experts segment and let it sink in. Ponder it. But listen to this clip. It's about a minute long. It's about these dumb protesters. Listen to this.
Human rights are under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. What do we do? Stand up, fight back.
It's very scary. Abortion is healthcare. Abortion can be life-saving. I have a disability that puts me at a particularly high risk for loss of life from pregnancy. So abortion would truly be life-saving to me if I.
They would let you do it. Every state would let you do it if it's your life, woman.
This is what democracy is.
People who have the access and the power to be able to make decisions for the general population without an actual understanding of the lives that we live and the complications that we can face. It's really frustrating.
Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and the hour of our death. Amen.
Catholics.
Also, I think it's important that people know that abortion is still legal at this point.
At this point? Look at that. Against abortion, get a vasectomy. Hands off our uteruses. Safe abortions save lives. Protect something. What a mess, huh? Press 1 if it looks like a herd of heifers, says Blazing Hogs. And a heifer, H-E-I-F-R, is it pronounced heifer or heifer? Or heifer? I think that means cows. Every anti-abortion law, including the most extreme anti-abortion people, allows for the life of the mother. So you're lying. Or you're dumb. You need to not worry your pretty little head, lady. And I use the term loosely. And I read during Hake News, I may tell you about it again here later, at a later time. I read during Hake News all the speculation as to who and why they may have leaked it. Or she. Let's say it was a she who leaked it, right? No self-respecting man would ever leak this, right? Out of the Supreme Court. Some say that it's illegal to leak it. It's definitely against what's right and orderly. We are a country of orderliness and whiteness, white on the inside and majority on the outside, supposed to be. And that's a fact, Jack. Nice. Insta-mute, says Dan East. I guess he insta-muted as soon as he saw ladies. And I use the term loosely, talking. What a mess. Let me get to Germaine in Atlanta, Georgia. Should be ready. He should be ready. Germaine, is it with a G or a J?
It's with a J.
Okay. Thank you, man. Thanks for calling. I think the G threw me off. Made me think it was a woman. I've talked with you before, right?
Yes, you have.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I just want to say, well, not the only thing I want to say, but before I say anything, I want to say God bless you and Nick and Chris and the rest of the crew and Jesse. Thank you for everything that you do.
Right on, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Also, because I hear you say it all the time, but every time you say it, I burst out laughing. I thought this was America.
Don't you love that line?
Yes, I do. Do you watch South Park?
I don't, but I have seen those little highlights of South Park where it's that guy who's like always drunk at some inappropriate place, acting inappropriate, and he gets beat up by the cops, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought this was America. This is not America." Oh, man. I know some wise old Christian men who used to watch South Park, and so they thought it was funny, and so yeah, at least it used to be.
Yes, every time you say that, I just burst out laughing. But it is true, though. It is true. I thought this was America. Based on the topics that are on the show. You know what I mean?
Right. Freedom of speech and.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially with the abortion, with the abortion issue right now.
Yeah. These women are out of control, and the female-minded males who say, don't want an abortion, don't agree with abortion, get a vasectomy. And I know males who have gotten a vasectomy. And most of the time they're like white or white passing. Shameful.
I know. It is shameful. I'm disappointed.
Yeah. Terrible.
All right. Hey, well, thanks for taking my call, though.
Thank you, Germaine.
That.
Take care.
All right. God bless you.
Bye. Wow. I'm sorry. I thought this was America. This is not America anymore? Well, he didn't say anymore. What, this is not America? I thought this was America. So good. So true. So evil. The overthrowing of America. From within. Our enemies are not Putin. He may be an enemy, I don't know. Dale Everdale says, I want to peel Hake's eyes open and make him watch South Park. It's not that I'm against watching it. I know that it has its vulgar moments and graphic. I don't like seeing people die. Doesn't Kenny die all the time or something like that? I don't know. Is Kenny a redhead? It's so-called ginger? I don't like that word. Blonde. Oh, okay. Whew. That's okay then. There is one guy who's supposedly red-haired, but you never see his hair. Or at least, I don't know. I've never seen it. I don't really watch the show. Anyway, in the last several minutes of this first hour, let me share with you another sign of the decline of America's morality. I don't want to say morals because Lin Yan Chin may rightly jump down my throat because morals is different from morality. Messy weddings. I got this from Commie Nonsense Network, CNN. You know, you all know I love CNN more than I should. They say, watch this adorable toddler steal the show at his parents' wedding. How is a toddler at his parents' wedding? That's odd. If you're like me and old school. If you're a sucker for cute viral videos, here's another one to make you smile, says CNN. So I have this clip 13 to share with you. Isn't this nice? A nice feel-good Hake Report human interest video. Right? You guys want some variety? Here's some variety. Watch this adorable toddler. I don't use that word, okay? Adorable. I'm just reading CNN, Commie Nonsense Network, because they're female-minded and not morally straight. Steal the show at his parents' wedding. I don't know how a kid is a toddler already. He's not even supposed to be a twinkle in his mother's eye at his parents' wedding. But here's this CNN video. Newlywed Christy Mehelik. Is that a Christian name? I don't know, but she is purportedly blonde. At least in the video. Might not be natural. Says this moment with her 3-year-old son, 3 years old, captured on video, not even having a shotgun wedding, by a guest at her wedding is one of the highlights of her motherhood. She was a single mother, not even married before having sex? What? So listen, it's about 2 minutes long. Bear with me through this. And I'll try to read the read the subtitles because there's music and then you'll hear the woman talking and different things. So here it is. Enjoy or not. Little kid runs up the aisle to hug his mother who's in a wedding dress.
Every time he's called me mom, that was my favorite time. It just made me feel so special and that he loved me so much, you know, that he couldn't wait to get to me.
3-year-old Pierce Mehelik stole the show at his parents' wedding. That's wrong. There's the Bobby and Christy Mehelik, married April 22nd at Plantera Conservatory in Michigan.
We were business partners in the commercial real estate world for almost 6 years, and we fell in love during work. Just shortly after we got together as an official couple, God blessed us with this little one.
God. The couple had planned for their son to walk the wedding rings down the aisle. But while practicing at the rehearsal dinner the night before the wedding, Christy says Pierce, the little boy, 3-year-old, wasn't having it.
Wanted to run around the venue. And so I was like, it's okay. I can't let that bother me. I wanted it to be so perfect. But if it doesn't, no problem. You know, I just need to move on. Well, he surprised us all and gave us more than perfection. I mean, it was a movie. This was so authentic and genuine. To see his little love beam for his mom, you know, it was something so special. Beyond what you saw in the video was he literally started dancing after dinner and never left the dance floor. Not ever.
Cute. That's cute. There's CNN. CNN corrupting the culture. Turn on the AC, please. Thank you. I appreciate it. In advance. I shouldn't count my chickens before they're hatched. So wrong. Do you guys understand why I don't like this? I get that the child is kind of so-called authentic. Quote-unquote authentic. But that's the only authentic thing. CNN in the corner instantly makes it disgusting, says Dan East. Yeah. At least she married a white man, I guess. Yeah, but after they already had children together. So bad. You know, I was invited to a re-wedding once or twice, which is kind of akin to getting married after your kid that you had together with the man is already 3 years old. I didn't go to those re-weddings, remarriages. Remarriage just doesn't seem special. And on top of that, it's adultery. You know, I don't believe in divorce or remarriage. That kid is lucky he didn't ruin his mom's special day. So when is a marriage authentic to you, Hake? Asks Fëanor. When you do it in the orderly way. You don't have sex until marriage. They're married now. How is that bad? It's bad because... Oh, that AC feels so good. It's bad because they weren't supposed to... They're like, have some shame. I mean, it's fun. It's... All right, I guess it's better that they get married later than never, I suppose. And then she's all, God blessed us with this little one. Blaming it on God that they had a baby out of wedlock and been having sex. And they're all old. She's not as old as him, maybe. Fëanor says, hey, when are you getting married? Stop judging us, LOL. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Fëanor. Fëanor. Because it has a... Is that an umlaut, the 2 dots over the E? You're judging me. But yeah, I think that women and female-minded people will like make exceptions and be all excited about an out-of-wedlock pregnancy. Think, oh, that's a blessing. That's God's blessing. Life. At least they're not getting an abortion. Such low standards. Reminds me of my, I want to say friend, my caller Kenneth. He calls himself Native American. I call that American Indian. Who he considered himself a pretty good example because he never went to jail, right? But that's the low standard. It's kind of like saying, oh, at least I didn't get abortion, but I got my woman pregnant out of wedlock. That's not good. At least they're loving parents and care for the child. Find something else to pick on, says Lisa. Shout out to the Facebook crew. Nice to see ya. Shout out to Lisa. I know, that's good. That's nice that you're so, if they actually are loving parents and care for their child. But that's a bad example. We have to shame the shameful and say right on to the right on stuff. Right on, right on. For some reason that makes me think of Joanna Newsom. But anyway, that's a singer who's not Christian. Cousin, I think, of the beta governor. James, people think you don't mind black abortions. Oh, I do. I mind those. I don't know what people you're thinking of. Hake is jealous. Oh, she is pretty, but she already has a kid, and she's too old for me. Why they wait to get married? Exactly, Miklo El Chicano. Low standards are inclusive. Exactly. Yeah, we need to be against that. Shotgun weddings are if a baby is and still in the oven. The baby is still in the oven. Your baby is still in the oven. Yeah, that's right, Cordell. You know. People like that couple are not destroying the country. Worry about the ones who are. Well, you don't know that because people like that, the divorce and remarriage and all that stuff, that led to the moral decline. We have to have the standard on what's right. What's right. She was not pretty at all. I thought she was. She was kind of pretty. Maybe not on the inside. But yeah, we have to hold to the standard of what's right. That's why I pick on them. She was ugly. Come on, that's rude. It's incorrect. It's inaccurate. We are at the top of the hour, guys. That's enough of my playing around. But that's some super chats. That's your human interest story for now. The Reverend Chad Kroeger. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Correct me if I'm wrong. The Reverend Chad Kroeger, Kroeger, gave a super chat and stated on Odysee, $2 for B-words. Yo's screaming. I want to say it just out of appreciation for your super chat, but I can't bring myself to say it because there are children whose parents may not want the children to repeat. Children may be prone to repeat the cool stuff that I say, right? The stuff that I say is so catchy, and children want to copy it. So I don't want to say it, but it says B-I blank 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 E-O-S, screaming. Nice. And the Reverend Chad Kroeger gave another $2 if you don't play a song. Well, too late. I'm just going to Jew you out of your $2 because I'm about to play a song. Or maybe it's not exactly a song, because one sings a song. You have to sing in order for a musical piece to be a song. And this musical piece, it could be debatable whether it's singing in this piece. So it may not be a song. So technically speaking, I did earn my $2. Or am I still Jewing you out of... Maybe I shouldn't say that. Out of your $2. This is a music from Frog Eyes. You know I like Frog Eyes. I may be the only one. Some people like it. I know some people like it. And you know what? In the next hour, I may read from the PDF of this leaked opinion. It's quite interesting, from Samuel Alito. And I have some other history and storms to show you from over the weekend. But anyway, Frog Eyes. This is Frog Eyes from the album Ego Scriptor, 2004 album. It's an acoustic album. That means it's beautiful. Track 7, the Akhian Press, A-K-H-I-A-N. Akhian Press by Carey Mercer, C-A-R-E-Y. It's a man. Or a male. He's the vocalist on this track. I hope you enjoy it. You musical Philistines, press mute, cover your ears, go rake leaves or shovel snow or whatever happens at the beginning of May. But this track is just 2 minutes and 20 seconds or less long. So enjoy, and I'll be right back for the rest of hour 2. Hang tight. Akhian Press, Frog Eyes.
I had a better fall, I fell into the sea. I wish I was the mother of an engineer to be. Widening the borders so the fathers on their knees will go and run from the rain. Oh, bleak satellite, with grace and a semblance of an miracle might you make a bastard. Will he row hard, will he row for free? Row to the dawn song again. Oh, isn't it sad? Isn't it the same? Pushing up the miracle with a miracle is pain. Well, I hate hell and then I hate Rose. No, why will they want to be free? I had a better fall, I fell into the sea. Remember better that I think was in the way they cover me. I wish I was the mother of an engineer to be. Road to the dawn song again. Oh, please satellite. With grace and innocence and miracle might you make a bastard. Will you roll hard? Will you roll for free? Roll on, Master Jane. Oh, isn't it sad? Isn't it the same? Pushing up the miracle, but the miracle is pain. I hate hell and then I hate those. No, I really want to be free. Oh, first, alright, but it's a rhythm in the night. Oh, well, fair's alright, but it's a burden in the night. Hate borders, hate the free, hate the beginning to be, and hate for the miracle, but the miracle's not in me. Oh, la la la. Welfare's alright. Welfare's alright,
This is not the worst music he has played. It's not that bad. Thank you, hate speech. Play some corn, says Austin 316. Yeah, Head is a Christian. Brian Head Welch. He's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show multiple times, as well as, I think, The Fallen State. Tim Wheeler, Hake has to be trolling us with this trash. This is a hateful song. Bug Eyes, says Karen Williams. Why is all these songs done by cocaine addicts? Oh, that's speculation. Volume all the way down, says Kenny. Zenny. Take that, you musical Philistines. Is this the Black Keys before they were black? This is awful. Still better than Lady Luka music, though, says Jig Food Truck. Ouch. Ouch. Turn it off now, please, says King Kunta. Well, I appreciate it, guys. A couple more little chats here. I screenshotted them. Right in time for bad music, says Lord Colin B. Play some Saxon, says Austin 316. Had not heard of them. But I appreciate that. Top Oracle. I think that's Joe from Phoenix, allegedly. Hake showing his hateful nature out in the open today. Jewing. Come on, that's a figure of speech. Give me a break. Even the Jews say that stuff. Hateful. Yeah, don't be a woman. Don't be a woman. A woman should be a woman in the proper way, but a man should not be a female-minded, Satan-listening woman, such as Joe from Phoenix. But thank you, Joe from Phoenix. Nice to hear from you. Hake, donate these CDs to Ukraine, says Lord Colin B. Pretty funny. Hake hates us. I'm telling you, says Ghost Rider. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate you bearing with me through the wonderful Frog Eyes music. Wasn't it a vibe? I loved it. I really like that song with the you know, the drums, and he just keeps on going with lyric after lyric. I don't know what he's saying. Isn't it sad? Isn't it the same? Pushing up the miracle when the miracle is pain, or something. Anyway, let's keep it moving, guys. We're at 10:09 here in Los Angeles. Before I get to your calls, this is some interesting stuff. I saw this tweet from Cernovich on History. Mike Cernovich is a center-left guy. I consider him pro-America. Some of you guys may not, but he has hosted the Jesse Lee Peterson show, guest hosted before. Did a great job, had callers from all over the world. Has appeared on The Fallen State. Cernovich on Twitter, I read a true story of the conquistadors, and let's just say that your history teacher lied to you. They walked into hell on earth. Indescribable horrors. And that may be accurate, hell on earth. The conquistadors were the Spanish people who came from Spain, right? The Europeans. Are Spanish people white? White? And he quote tweeted this. They came into like the Americas, right? South America, Central America, the islands, I think, and even parts of North America. Clip 14, Cernovich quote tweeted this. from CBS News. This is interesting. Oh my gosh. Reminds me of another story of a murder from the 80s, perhaps. CBS News, though. Police found 150 skulls at a quote-unquote crime scene in Mexico. Mexico, the Mexican drug cartels, the inspiration for ISIS. Did you know that? They're chainsawing people's, cover your ears, kids, heads off. I saw that one time. Oof, terrible. Whew. Anyway, it turns out the victims, mostly women, how are you assuming their gender? Crime scene investigators or scientists? They can tell down to the bones. I learned from Matt Walsh, based Christian Catholic Matt Walsh, working for Daily Wire. The victims, mostly women, were ritually decapitated over 1,000 years ago, and they link an article. This is a 41-second clip, and it doesn't have any spoken words on it, so I'll try to read the subtitles to the audio podcast listeners and read a little bit more before I get to calls here. So here's clip 14 from CBS News, about 150 skulls at a 1,000-year-old, I don't know how they figure that, crime scene, carbon dating. Is that accurate? Anyway, listen to this and watch. A pile of about 150 skulls found in a cave near Guatemalan border of Chiapas, Mexico. Police believe the discovery was a scene of a crime. But after a decade of testing the bones by the National Institute of Anthropology and History, it was determined the skulls were from sacrificial victims killed between AD 9000 and 900. Experts say the majority of victims females, none of them had any teeth. Wow. They also had probably been ritually decapitated with the skulls put on display like a trophy rack. In 2012, prehistoric skull piles were found in Mexico. Wow. And showed a hole bashed through each side of every skull. Wow, terrible. Horrific stuff. That is what was going on when the conquistadors, whose statues are being torn down along with our great Confederate American heroes, are being torn down by trashy people who love this mess. So sick. So Mike Cernovich, historian and journalist and center-left free speech activist on Twitter. People think he's far right. Center-left. He might be even further than center-left because he's for a little bit of socialism stuff, right? You know, forgiving the student loans and things like that. He may have a point, I don't know. But anyway, Cernovich tweeted, before CRT, that's critical race theory, even before CRT, I think is what he's saying, the left, as in so-called teachers, academia, and the mainstream media, was teaching fake history. Conquistadors, the Spanish conquerors, weren't good guys, but they walked into evil, as in evil that is beyond Western imagination, and meaning beyond what the whites can imagine. And the whites can imagine quite a lot. Have you seen those, or fellow whites, I guess. Have you seen the horror movies? I guess those aren't made by Christian whites. Usually. Wow. And so, he shared some photographs of this book that he was reading a year ago, August of a year ago, books of pages and the cover of this book. He said, this book is the Aztecs account, and if you want to show, you can. It's in the don't show folder, but I don't know. This book is the Aztecs account. They want the conquistadors to look bad. We've been lied to. And it talks about death of the envoy from Tlaxcala. The Cholutecas paid no attention to something, preferring to die rather than surrender, rejecting the good counsel of the Tlaxcaltecas. I butchered that word. They flayed the face of Patlahuatzin, the ambassador, the man of great repute and valor. They did the same to his arms, which they flayed to the elbows. Horrific, huh? and they cut his hands at the wrists so that they dangled. In this cruel fashion, they sent him away alive, saying, "Go back and tell the Tlaxcaltekas and those other beggars or gods or whatever they are, that this is how we invite them to come. This is the answer we send them." So in other words, the ambassador returned in great agony, victim of an outrage that caused much horror and grief in the Republic, because he was one of the worthiest and most handsome men of this land. He died in the service of his homeland and Republic, where his fame is eternal, blah, blah, blah. The Tlaxcaltecas were enraged at this inhuman treatment of Patlahuatzin. These are Mexicans doing it, pre-Mexican Mexicans doing, Indians doing this stuff to each other, right? They took unthinkable cruelty as a great affront, since all ambassadors were traditionally respected and honored by foreign kings and lords. You know, not very white, right? The whites are like gentlemen, usually. They do things in an orderly way, but those people broke the order. Crazy, huh? Somebody said to Cortez being a conquistador, right? Am I incorrect? "Most valiant lord, we wish to accompany you in order to seek vengeance against the Cholula for its insolent wickedness, and to conquer and destroy that city and province. People so obstinate and vicious, so evil and tyrannous, should not remain alive." So in other words, some of the Mexican Indians wanted to go back and get those people who did that evil thing to that person, flayed his face and arms and hands. Sick, huh? They should not remain alive, and if there were no other cause in this, they would deserve eternal punishment. They have not thanked us for our good counsel, but have scorned and despised us because of our love for you, Cortez. The valiant Cortez answered them with a stern face, "Have no fear, I promise you revenge." And he kept his promise, waging a cruel war in vast multitudes where vast multitudes were slaughtered, in which vast multitudes were slaughtered. Crazy, huh? The Cholultecas said that their foes would all be drowned by their idol Quetzalcoatl. This is the most venerated idol among the many that they were worshipped. Anyway, Cernovich is reading this history book by the Aztecs, or the descendants of the Aztecs, called The Broken Spears, the Aztec Account of the Conquest of Mexico, edited and with introduction and new postscript by Miguel León Portilla. León-Portilla. Or whatever. Interesting, huh? The back of the book, Cultural Studies/History. For hundreds of years, the history of conquest of Mexico and the defeat of the Aztecs has been told in the words of the Spanish victors. Miguel León Portilla has been at the forefront of expanding the history to include the voices of indigenous peoples. In this new and updated edition, the Broken Spear edition of his classic, The Broken Spears, León Portilla has included the accounts of native Aztec descendants across the centuries. These texts bear witness to the extraordinary vitality of an oral tradition that preserves the viewpoints of the vanquished instead of the victors. Interesting, huh? I wonder what, the vanquished in World War II and World War I might say, if those ever get accepted into the history books, you know? Just curious. A fascinating book, an account of the events from the other side. Interesting, huh? Here's some more from Cernovich. He said, "Imagine you're Cortez. You land in some remote part of the world, and this is what you see." And here's an account from this other book that he's reading. We found 2 houses which were strongly built of stone and lime, both ascended by a flight of steps and surmounted by a species of altar in which stood several abominable idols, to whom the previous evening 5 Indians, you call them Indians, right? Because that's their proper name, had been sacrificed. Their dead bodies still lay there, ripped open with the arms and legs chopped off. Sorry, kids, but kids are not too sensitive. While everything near was besmeared with blood, we contemplated this sight in utter astonishment and gave this island the name of Isla de Sacrificios. Crazy, huh? Respecting the abominable human sacrifices of these people, the following was communicated to us. The breast of an unhappy victim destined to be sacrificed was ripped open with a knife made of sharp flint, the throbbing heart then torn out. Sorry, kids, or parents, or sensitive people, faint of heart. and immediately offered to the idol god, I'm getting lightheaded, in whose honor the sacrifice had been instituted. After this, the head, arms, and legs were cut off and eaten at the banquets. Terrible, huh? With the exception of the head, which was saved. We were positively told that after we had beaten out of the city of Mexico, I need some water, and had lost 850 of our men, turn on the AC again. Make sure the AC, I have water. We had lost 850 of our men. These horrible beasts were fed for many successive days with the bodies of the unfortunate countrymen, our unfortunate countrymen. Indeed, when all the tigers and lions roared together with all the howlings of the jackals and foxes and hissing of the serpents, it was quite fearful, and you could not suppose otherwise than that you were in hell. Wow. Crazy, huh? Wild, wild stuff. Let me read some super chats, guys, while I get some water, too. At least they weren't racist, says Chris. I know, ridiculous. Why is Hake believing Cernovich? Because he always tells the truth. Here's some super chats from Danny says, no, not a vibe, no vibe, LOL, referring to my music. The best part of the album is the CD case itself because you can reuse it for something else. That's it. Eliel1478 with a super chat. Generous super chats on Odysee. ODYSEE.com/@the-Hake Report. Ling Young Chin, a.k.a. Ling Long Ding Dong, a.k.a. African Affirmative Action Lil Big Silly, a.k.a. Reach Bleep, Tard Bleep. LOL. Wow. And he gave it twice. Oh, man. Eliel, did you mean to do that? I wonder if you got charged twice. Appreciate the support, man. Even though you're bashing Lin Yun Chin. Hake needs some milk. Forget you guys. I don't know if kids can repeat forget you guys. Lin Yen Shin says, yes, Lord Goodhair, Spain and the rest of the Iberian Peninsula are white, lesser white due to admixture from when the Caliphate conquered them, that's the Muslims. Infusing North African DNA into their gene pool, they do have a pure subset because of stillbirth curse. Huh. May need to put my head down after that graphic thing. The pure whites in Spain are called Basque people, B-A-S-Q-U-E. Their Rh negative status is deified by a subset of New Age nut jobs who believe them to be progent of benevolent E.T., ask LUKA. Their males can breed with other peoples, but their females can't. Wow, crazy. Getting some more water, guys. Sorry if I'm rude. Or I'm not sorry, but forgive me if I'm rude. Is that rude to be drinking water and gulping on screen and on mic? But thank you, guys. And Eliel1478, I appreciate the double super chat. I do appreciate it. If I happen to see your regular chat, I shall read them, I guess. If you say something worthwhile. Anyway, not rude, says Danny. Thank you, man. Let me get to LUKA in Indiana. There's a caller on the line. LUKA in Indiana, how are you?
Doing well, Hakeomania.
Hey, nice.
Sorry, not going to use that voice.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I just had to defend my honor against Lady Food Truck there. Sounds like he's got a little hearing damage, like a boy with no face.
Going after the chatters who don't appreciate your music and compare it to frog eyes, huh?
I would have left it alone, but you just keep reading them.
I know. Yeah, I read them on air.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for... Well, it's not your honor that you're defending. You're defending your music.
Yeah.
You're defending the ego, which is not you.
That's true. That's true. Thanks for the insight.
Do you have anything to say about your music to distinguish it from Frog Eyes?
Well, I would like to think that I sing on key and don't sound neurotic.
Neurotic.
And, you know, I've been doing this since 2001, I would say. And,
nice.
Yeah, you just get better as you go. I mean,
True.
I had a lot of critiques when I first started out. You know, my dad was always in a band, so I started playing shows with him, and I'd have all these old, like, you know, bar dudes being like, "Oh, get this long-haired kid off the stage. He sucks."
Sorry,
so,
kids.
you know, I had to humble myself and just take the advice and get better.
Right on, man.
I don't think Frog Eyes ever did. I think he just sat in his mama's basement, plugged away at his guitar, and no one ever told him, dude, you need to get better.
I think that Pitchfork gave Frog Eyes like an 8, which is a
8 out of 100.
8 out of 10, man. I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
Well, we all appreciate your chat, bringing everybody together from around the world.
Yeah.
Keep up the great work, Lord Goodhair.
Thank you, Luke. I appreciate it. And you know what? I wanted to mention something to you because I've been too loosey-goosey in allowing you to plug a fellow YouTuber whom I appreciate. I like this guy, whom you plug him a lot. But that's out of order. I want to let you know it is out of order to be, especially on my show or Nick's stream on Fridays, or the Jesse Lee Peterson show, to be plugging these guys, even if they're nice guys who support Hake or Jesse Lee or whatever, without permission or whatever, you know? Just so you're aware. So no more of that, please. I appreciate it. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault after the first time because I let it slide. I was too weak to put the clamp down on that.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because he just told me to stop plugging his show. So, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I am aware now.
Cool, man.
Thanks for letting me know.
You're welcome.
Have a great show, brother.
All right, appreciate you.
Hake is on fire.
Indeed. Take care, man.
Later.
Bye. And just so you're aware, it's okay for me to plug them. I was referring to Lord Bibby 42, who has put out Hake stuff and Joelle Friday stuff and JC Lee stuff, and at this point he's a supporter, and I do appreciate that. So, yeah, nice. Another caller, Art in Ohio, is on the line. Art from Ohio, how are you?
Hake, and this All-Star Hake weekend, Hake and Jesse weekend, All-Star Hake and Jesse weekend. So, just put on some Hake, and you will be rewarded. His show is forever booming, and you know we get it started. And that's my main man, MC Hammer. Let's get it started, man. Shout out to my grandmother who just died. That was her favorite little artist or whatnot, MC Hammer.
Nice.
Okay, let's get down.
Was MC Hammer? He's a black guy, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Yeah, my best friend in school, he had in 4th grade, he had an MC Hammer watch.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see. I didn't know that, but see, MC Hammer was so big back then.
Yeah.
They had the Barbies. I'm just now finding out they had the watches, all type of little stuff. I didn't know they had watches though.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
My big sister, look, she had a Barbie doll that had the MC Hammer. It was an MC Hammer doll, and he had a little boom box that would play his little music out the little boom, like a little toy boom. But it was just crazy because he was like really popular back then. I didn't know he was that popular like that.
Wow. I had a friend in 7th and 8th grade, which is long after, it was mid-90s, long after the MC Hammer pants went out of style, but he was still wearing the MC Hammer pants.
Yeah. MC Hammer the man. Don't get it messed up. MC Hammer the man. Don't. But that ain't what I called about. I called they was somebody in the chat was saying, I think one of your super chats was saying, why Jesse and Hake acting like they ain't too happy with the little Roe v. Wade being overturned? Because for some odd reason, ever since these females been coming into politics, we know how the female is. They can't go out and fight their battle, so they got to get everybody into the fight. They got to do their little go on their blowhorn and get everybody into the fight. Get to pouting and crying, so they want to come out and leak the documents from the Supreme Court, just messy as they want, the females, as messy as they want to be. And now you got a whole bunch of them libtards out there in front of the Supreme Court fighting and whatever they doing, acting a fool.
Yeah.
And trying to scare the Supreme Court justices into not overturning Roe v. Wade. So that's why we ain't too enthused about it, because we know that most of them Supreme Courts and most of these politics, they scared of their own shadow. Only thing you got to do is wink at them and blow at them, and they going to go hide up under the rock for the next 15 years.
What a shame. I hope you're wrong in this case, but you're so right. We all know it.
Yeah, well, they better toughen up. Quit being scared of their dang on shadow. Yep. I mean, whether you a female or not, man, every hill ain't meant to die on, but you bet you don't stand for something, you gonna fall for anything. It's over with for all that being scared and not standing on your word. It's not standing on what's morally right.
That's right. So true.
Hey, well, go ahead. I ain't gonna hold you. That's all I want. I ain't gonna stay on too long. I'll catch you probably later or something.
Well, thank you, Art. Appreciate you. Take care.
Yes, sir.
All right. Too legit to quit, says Dan East. Oh, that was MC Hammer? I never knowingly, that I can recall, listened to MC Hammer because I grew up on Christian music. My older siblings, Christian music. My mother's Christian music at the time. And so I did not know that was MC Hammer. Too legit to quit. I remember my friend was going to get told on he was my classmate anyway, sort of a friend. He said, well, I shouldn't say it because it's kind of setting a bad example for the kids. But he said, Toolish, beep. I'm going to tell. No, don't tell. Male kids threatening to tell on each other. Come on, don't be so female-minded. Anyway, we got to pray just to make it today. That's from MC Hammer, too? Wow, I didn't know he was a Christian. Hake had an NWA album. That was later. That was after college. I got the NWA. N-words with attitude. N-guz with attitude. And attitude is correct. I do remember N-gurs. Yeah, true. Oh, it's N-gurs or N-guz? I think it's N-guz with attitude. But anyway. Yeah, I remember Vanilla Ice was the white one, and he was in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles part, what, was that 3 or 2? I think it was 2. Go Ninja, go. Anyway, I gotta keep moving, guys. We don't want to get carried away. We cannot waste your time. It's actually Ngaz with a Z, with attitude. Says Nick Stream, host of Nick Stream, the anchor baby. Bone Thugs, East 1999 on Eternal. I think that was my freshman year of high school, or maybe 8th grade, or maybe sophomore year. Yeah. Thank you, guys. So let me show you what happened over the weekend. I forgot to show you yesterday, the storms. Tornadoes. If it has eyes, it has toes, right? Although it's not tornado, it's tornado. So is tornadoes spelled O-E-S, or is it just O-S? Tornadoes. Somebody look that up for me. I don't feel like Googling it. Because tornadoes, you know, the eye of the storm, right? So it has eyes, it has an eye, so it has a toe. But anyway. That's how you know, like, tomatoes, potatoes. Potatoes have eyes, so they end on O-E-S. I don't know, it's just English. Grammar. Spelling. Clip 16, though. This is from over the weekend. Actually, Friday, I want to say. This is from Commie Nonsense Network, but this has nothing to do with communism, except for their Chiron is in the way. Commie capitalist CNN. A powerful tornado tore through Wichita, Kansas. I've been there. I went there for a wedding. Area Friday night, leveling dozens of structures in the city of Andover, a city of about 15,000, about 14 miles east of Wichita. So look at this crazy footage from CNN if you're watching the video, and you'll see like these actual tornadoes. I wish they'd get rid of the Chiron, you know, the lower third, the little label thing at the bottom of the screen. It disrupts your view of the tornadoes. It's so awesome. Are you okay? Listen to this. Watch. I mean.
Holy. Okay.
Holy.
Look at that.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my God.
Kansas tornado.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh is right. Authorities say at least one tornado touched down in the Wichita area yesterday, damaging homes, cars, and at least 50 to 100 buildings there.
The worst damage happened in the town of Andover, where authorities say most of the roads are closed. With the sun now up in Kansas, authorities will be able to get a much more detailed and closer look at the damage. Last night, Andover's fire chief laid out the tough task ahead.
We know that there was a direct tornado strike that started in Sedgwick County and traveled into Andover. We had many buildings in Andover take very tough damage.
Look at that.
Total in the path, there were 966 buildings, we believe.
Whoa.
We do not have a damage assessment on how many of those were damaged.
Isn't that awesome? Awesome as in like powerful acts of God type of stuff. They call it acts of God when there's damage like that nobody can control. Oh, climate change. Give me a break. You don't know what you're talking about. Tornadoes scarier than that 1994 Northridge quake down here in SoCal, Southern California. Northridge up there. I remember seeing like a bridge just go poof, collapse. Like a car just poof, disappeared. Crazy. Yeah, 1994. I would have been in what, 6th grade or something like that? No. I don't know. Somewhere around that. Blaming God. Is it God's judgment for our abortion, allowing the killing of the babies based on the damage the National Weather Service? I told you this yesterday. This happened on like Friday. It's old news, but it's so cool. I say cool, but okay, there were some injuries. Nobody died that I know of in this thing. There was an F5 tornado back in 1991, April 26th of 1991. I guess springtime is when this stuff happens sometimes. It killed 17 people. Extensive damage from this past Friday, but only a handful of injuries, I guess. National Weather Service called it an EF3, winds ranging 136 to 165 miles per hour. They speculated based on the damage. 14 reported tornadoes in Kansas and Nebraska. One in Florida. Thunderstorms, wind damage, hail, big hail too. Hail is ice, okay? Ice that falls, right? You guys know that? You guys know that better than me. More than 70 reports of wind damage and over 50 reports of hail. In Enterprise, Kansas, there was hail up to 4 inches in diameter. Wow, that's bigger than a softball, which is 3.8. Crazy, huh? Awesome. Although you don't want to be in the way of that. How high does hail fall? From how high does hail fall? Whoa. Is it geoengineering? Is it all those, what are those things called? Chemtrails? Are they making the weather dominator like in G.I. Joe? Whew. Crazy, huh? Pretty wild stuff. Anyway, had to share that with you. 237 miles per hour, says Nicole R., who asked me why I listen to Cernovich, is as far up as they can go. 237 miles is, not miles per hour. Is as far up as they can go. You're saying the hail? No. I don't know what she's talking about. She must be talking about something else. Kubrick knew, hence room 237. I think she must be talking about space being fake and not morally straight, and so you can't get up above, I don't know, the Van Allen belt or something. Maybe must be talking about something else, not talking about hail. Baseball-sized hail will knock you out, and this was softball-sized hail. Yeah, I mean, wonder what damage that does to like cars. Is it solid ice? Man, crazy. Hey, he's amazed by the weather. Yeah, I am. Maybe when we move to Florida, we'll see some of that. Because I heard that there was a tornado in in Florida, as well as Kansas and Nebraska. Anyway, that's enough of that, right? You can call in 888-775-3773. Californians are amazed by weather. You're supposed to be, right? Keep that childlike wonder. Let me show you, though, or tell you about more cringy, anti-white, revisionist history / victim propaganda. Before I get to, I may read to you some of the PDF, if I have time, the abortion preliminary, first draft of the decision, right? Supreme Court majority opinion. Because it's pretty interesting. But anyway, cringy anti-white revisionist history / victim propaganda, Commie Nonsense Network reports on this quote from this attorney. And this attorney states, "To know that I have 3 living survivors that are here with me right now, to feel this partial victory, it means everything." So I guess there are people alive today. This is from this is attorney Demario Solomon-Simmons, hyphenated last name, even though it's a male, Demario. Or is Demario not a male? Celebrating a so-called judge's ruling yesterday that allowed a lawsuit to go forward, a lawsuit seeking reparations for the 1921, over 100 years ago, Tulsa riot. Remember that? Which CNN falsely renamed, and others, mainstream media suckers, liars, falsely called the Tulsa Race Massacre. Give me a break. Allowing this frivolous lawsuit to go forward. The 2021 lawsuit named 11 plaintiffs, people suing, trying not only to set the record straight, yeah, right, on what took place in 1921, over 101 years ago, well before anyone was born, but also create a special fund for quote-unquote survivors, like maybe there are people over 100 years old, right, who so-called survived, and descendants of the mutual riot, I call it a mutual riot, that left at least 300 black people dead. And they falsely or errantly capitalized the B in the word black because they're kissing up. And the once booming neighborhood of Greenwood, what is that, Oklahoma? Yeah, it's Oklahoma, right? So phony, so fake, so evil. Talking about black victimhood. Reparations lawsuit. Just a phony attack on the whites and it's actually an attack on the blacks too, FYI, because victimhood does nothing good for the purported victim or survivor. The women try to say, oh, I'm a survivor of sexual assault, because I can't say victim because I don't want to be perpetual victim. But really, you're the same thing. A mess. Caroline Wall is this so-called judge. Granted in part a motion to dismiss, but denied it in part as well, allowing the case to proceed. Unclear what's going to happen next, though. Ridiculous. Shameful. Disgusting. There's a 101-year-old survivor. Okay, so he was what, 1? Please. He was like barely born. Hughes Van Ellis. I've never seen nothing like this happen. He never lost hope. That means it's going to change things. It's going to make people think. It's going to change. It's going to be better for everybody, he claimed. There was a packed courtroom because this is hype, in Tulsa. Erupted in cheers and applause at this judge's so-called judge's so-called ruling, including 3 remaining survivors who are all over 100 years old. They're little children. They don't remember this. So fake. Ridiculous. And this Demario Solomon-Simmons claims that he's worked on this for like 20-something years, 20-plus years. Client after client die. While you take their money, scumbag. Or I don't know if he's taking their money. Maybe he's doing it pro bono. Because people are so deluded that they'll get on this ideology. Their ego will be, their fed ego will be enough to keep them on this wide road to destruction, right? They've waited 300 plus years to have their day in court, talking about the 3 survivors, right? Between them. So phony. Give me a break. Pathetic. A century after the Tulsa race massacre, you still have a community that's struggling. Whose fault is that? Sensible, godly people would have been able to rebuild by then, right? But no, perpetual victims. Oh, we can't build anything because the whites get jealous and tear us down, tear our stuff down. Ever heard of the Tulsa race massacre? It's happened in multiple different cities around the country. The whites get jealous of the black success and tear us down. Give me a break. So fake. Anyway, we're at 15 minutes till. Let me read to you a little bit of this. Thing that I came across this morning. You know, you guys all know about this SCOTUS initial draft, Supreme Court of the United States, first draft purported, written by Justice Alito. It's the majority opinion, but it's the first draft, and it may not go through. Who knows, right? Don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Overt, or whatever your name is. Justice Alito delivered the opinion of the court. So listen to this. First written in February 10th, 2022. Justice Samuel Alito. Is he a based judge? I think he might be. He's okay, I think. He writes, abortion presents a profound moral issue on which Americans hold sharply conflicting views. Some believe fervently that a human person comes into being at conception. That's right. And that abortion ends an innocent life. Others feel just as strongly that any regulation, keyword feel, of abortion invades a woman's right to control her own body and prevents women from achieving full equality. Not that Alito is using that sarcastic language, tone of voice that I am using, but that's what he writes, right? He's presenting their side. Still others in a third group think abortion should be allowed under some but not all circumstances, and those within this group hold a variety of views about the particular restrictions that should be imposed. For the first 185 years of America, after adopting the Constitution of the United States, each state was permitted to address this issue in accordance with the views of its citizens. That's the 10th Amendment, right? Then, in 10th Amendment says states decide what's not mentioned in the Constitution. Then, in 1973, this court decided Roe v. Wade, even though the Constitution makes no mention of baby killing, abortion. The court held that it confers a broad right to obtain one. It did not claim that American law or the common law had ever recognized such a right, and its survey of history ranged from the constitutionally irrelevant, such as its discussion of abortion in antiquity, to the plainly incorrect. For example, its assertion that abortion was never a crime under common law, which it was a crime under common law. After cataloging a wealth of other information having no bearing on the meaning of the Constitution, this Roe v. Wade opinion concluded with a numbered set of rules, much like those that might be found in a statute enacted by a legislature, which is why CNN falsely called Roe v. Wade a law. It's not a law. Courts do not make laws. Yeah, and how is a baby your body? Dumb. Anyway, under this scheme, made up by Roe v. Wade, each trimester of pregnancy was regulated differently. But the most critical line was drawn at roughly the end of the second trimester, at which time corresponded the point at which a fetus, meaning a baby, inside the womb, was thought to achieve viability. Quote-unquote viability, i.e. the ability to survive outside the womb. Though the court acknowledged the states had a legitimate interest in protecting potential life, their words, potential life, it's already a life. But anyway, it found that this interest could not justify any restriction on pre-viability abortions, right? So the court did not explain the basis for this line, and even abortion supporters have found it hard to defend Roe v. Wade's reasoning. Interesting, huh? One prominent constitutional scholar wrote that he would vote for a statute very similar to the court to the one that the court ended up drafting if he were a legislator, but his assessment of Roe was memorable and brutal. Roe was not constitutional law at all and gave almost no sense of an obligation to try to be. Wow. Crazy. Lots of unviable babies walking around today, huh? Says Nick. Yeah. At the time of Roe, 30 states, 30 states, still prohibited abortion at all stages. In the years prior to that decision, about a third of the states had liberalized their laws, meaning allowing women to kill the babies, but Roe abruptly ended that political process. It imposed the same highly restrictive regime on the entire nation, meaning restricted everybody to let them kill the babies, right? Let the women and so-called doctors kill the babies. And it effectively struck down abortion laws of every single state. As Justice Byron White aptly put in his dissent, is that how you pronounce the name, Byron? Oh, Byron. I say Byron because I'm not used to that name. Byron White aptly put in his dissent, the decision represented the exercise of raw judicial power abuse, I say. And it sparked a national controversy that has embittered, our political culture for a half century. Wow, 50 years? Just a little bit more. Eventually, in another decision called Planned Parenthood of Southeastern PA, Pennsylvania, right? Oh, I was saying Southeastern PA versus Casey, this Casey decision. Roe v. Wade and this Casey decision. In 1992, the court revisited Roe, but members of the court split 3 ways. 2 justices expressed no desire to change Roe at all. 4 others wanted to overrule the decision in its entirety. And the 3 remaining justices who jointly signed the controlling opinion took a third position. Their opinion did not endorse Roe's reasoning, even hinted that one or more of its authors might have reservations about whether the Constitution protects the right to abortion. But the opinion concluded that stare decisis, which calls for prior decisions to be followed in most instances, meaning, what do they call that? Precedent? Oh, accept the precedent of the courts. Required adherence to what it called Roe's central holding that a state may not constitutionally protect fetal life before viability, even if that holding was wrong. Anything less, the opinion claimed, would undermine the respect of the court and the rule of law. Paradoxically, the judgment in Casey, 1992 decision, did a fair amount of overruling. Several important abortion decisions were overruled in toto. This is Justice Scalia purportedly writing his first draft of this opinion, right? Roe itself was overruled in part by this Casey decision, which threw out Roe's trimester scheme and substituted a new rule of uncertain origin in which states were forbidden to adopt any regulation that imposed an undue burden on the woman's right to have an abortion. So evil, huh? The decision provided no clear guidance about the difference between a due and undue burden on a woman's so-called right to have an abortion, meaning kill the baby. But the 3 justices who authored the controlling opinion called the contending sides of a national controversy to end their national division by treating the court's decision as the final settlement of the question of the constitutional so-called right to abortion. Crazy, huh? Casey did not achieve that goal. It did not unite the people because it's based on a lie. And it's pathetic, and it's not even a decent decision. So anyway, on and on and on it goes. It's like a bunch of pages. Wild, huh? Fetus is Latin for shelling or hatchling. In mammals, it's a newborn baby. Wow. Well, it's supposed to be unborn baby. Interesting. It's not a baby, it's a fetus. Wild, huh? Pretty wild. Let me get to Rick in Hampton, Virginia. He's on the line, wants to talk about this Supreme Court of the United States leak. Rick in Hampton, Virginia, how are you doing?
What's up, Jay? What's going on, dude?
Hey, it's good to hear from you.
You too, my brother. How was your weekend?
It was nice. I appreciate that. Great weekend. I took a Sabbath, which is a Sabado, which is the day off, right? Nice. Yeah, I took a whole day off on Saturday. Just chilled.
Oh, that's cool. That'll work out. They went by so fast you couldn't even blink your eye.
Yeah, I know. That's why you stay alert. Well, you know, when you pray, when you do Jesse Lee Peterson's silent prayer, it's like time slows down. If you're unconscious, you blink your eyes and 10 minutes is up already.
You know, when I do the silent prayer, I be relaxed. I don't have a care in this world.
Nice.
So I'm aware of my surroundings.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't be impatient to get up. You know, I just enjoy it. It's like you're relaxing.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
And sometimes I get so relaxed. I go to sleep sometimes. I get so relaxed.
Yeah, I know. True. I guess that's not prayer, huh? That's not prayer.
Well, you know,
hey,
I had to whoa. Let me get back focused. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm just saying. Well, what the main point I was driving at though, James, is that I be hearing people like, "Oh, I don't want." You know, it's like they're trying to see something happen, but it's just really just having peace.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see God without true peace, man. Because you know, like a lot of people don't experience the true peace. Because even in the church, man, I've never seen anxiety, depression, stress, worry, and high in the church.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that the world is rebuking the church now. Whoever thought it'd get that bad?
Yeah, it's so wrong. It's ridiculous.
You know, I mean, we're supposed to be rebuking the world, and you see a lot of rebuking church members.
Yeah, it is.
You know, but yeah, that's what that means. It's like no one has peace. Either most people don't have. I can say most, like they don't understand how to have it.
Do you have lasting peace?
What do you mean by lasting peace?
Do you have peace all the time?
Yes, I believe I do. Yes, for the most part, I do have it.
But for the most part, it doesn't mean all the time.
Well, you know, I'm gonna say this then. Yes, I do. I do believe I have peace all the time.
Nice, man.
I don't overreact to nothing. You know, I just if I can work it, if God asks me to work the problem out, I'll work the problem out best in this word. And if I can't, I'll let it work itself out.
Yeah.
You know, but I try to, you know, overreact and just handle stuff with patience. That's what I try to do.
What do you think about this Supreme Court of the United States leak?
Man, you know, I hope they overturn it, man. You think they'll overturn it?
I don't know. I don't know the future. I hope that if this thing is true, that this majority opinion is accurate, that it holds. But I don't know what will happen. I cannot predict the future. I'm not going to count my chickens before they're hatched.
That would be nice if they overturn it, man. You talking about Sleepy Joe? All these godless left liberals gonna be having a hissy fit.
Yeah, Sleazy Joe has been since a year ago or more been trying to look into packing the court, meaning add just so-called justices from 9 justices, changed it from 9 justices on the so-called Supreme Court, which is a misnomer, to 13 so-called justices on the Supreme Court, so they can pack it with a bunch of Democrats. So evil.
I leave it just as it is. Leave it just as it is. 9 is enough, and
9 is too many.
Leave it as it is. Oh yeah, you know.
I mean,
I'm just saying it because that's what the Constitution
right.
has.
I don't know if the Constitution even mentions it, but we need to bring back, as Misty says, abortion shaming, or just she says abortion shaming. Yeah, bring back abortion shaming.
What's that?
Meaning you have to you have to bring shame, the proper shame, back into the culture where we don't go along with evil, and that can help change things. In addition to this whatever quote unquote good thing that the Supreme Court may do, or that the government may do, but you can't rely on the government or the world to change. We, the people, have to push what's right into the world.
And vote for godly government officials.
Yeah.
You know, because I think a lot of times when it comes to liberal politicians, a lot of people vote for them because they sound good. See, like Obama sounds good, and especially when it comes to black.
Not to me.
We love people that sounds good. When they sound good, they talk,
That's all they need, and they got their vote.
Yeah.
They don't even have to have a vision.
I know.
You know, it just they gotta sound good, and
yeah.
That what President Obama did. He sound good. That's why people they like him. A lot of the liberals like him still.
I know. Anyway, Rick, I gotta go. We are overtime. Take care, man.
Oh, okay. You too, James, man. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for the Supreme Court judge. Is it coming today or tomorrow?
Oh no, it's not coming at all until like June or July, I think. The decision.
Oh man, that was coming today.
No, they just leaked it ahead of time because they're trying to, who knows what. So.
Oh, probably trying to excite the left so they can tell stuff. That's what they're trying to do.
Yep. All right, Rick, take care, man.
Okay, you too, James.
All right. Guys, this has been the Hake Report. Chief Justice John Roberts, the Rhino, wants the marshal of the court to hunt down the source of the leak. Hopefully that happens, according to the Boston Herald. Thank you, Nick, for the note. Well, guys, I shall hopefully see you tomorrow. Thank you, and take care. Adios.